Dear students, I Dr. Bhagwan Jija welcome you all in today's class. The topic of today's lecture is one-way slab. As you're clearly seeing the sketch of a slab in blue color, the slab is basically a horizontal member in a building. It is having two major dimensions: its width, that is here Lx, the shorter span, and its length, that is here Ly, the actually the length of the slab. So we have two spans here, longer span Ly and shorter span Lx. And the third dimension of the slab is its thickness, which is generally small as compared to a beam. It lies between 100 to 150 millimeter. To identify a slab, either it is a one-way slab or not, we should refer to the IS 456-2000, page 90, clause D 1.11. According to this, a span ratio has been suggested. If the ratio of longer span Ly by the shorter span Lx is more than 2, only then the slab can be a one-way slab. But if you see this sketch, there are only two wall supports shown here, that is on left side of the Lx shorter span and the right side of the shorter span. So in one-way slab only two supports are required along the longer span. The thickness of the wall generally is the 1 brick thick wall, which is taken as around 230 millimeter. That is actually the 9-inch thick brick wall size. So we can define a one-way slab. It is called one-way. Why? It is called one-way because bending of slab takes place along shorter span Lx only. So only out of the two dimensions, the width and the length, the shorter span and the longer span, the more important is the shorter span because this span is going to bend in one-way slab. Since it bends, so to take care of the tensile stresses developed in the slab, there is a provision to provide main steel reinforcement, which is along the shorter span, as per maximum bending moment for a simply supported beam type, which is equal to W L square by 8. Here in the one-way slab case, it will be W Lx square by 8. So accordingly we will design the main steel. Another type of steel is required is distribution steel. Distribution steel means a steel which is going to take care of the temperature stresses and the shrinkage stresses in the slab. The area for this steel is taken from the IS code, which is minimum steel required in any direction in slab, that is 0.12% for Fe415 steel and 0.15% of the gross cross-section area for Fe250 steel. Now the main concern is why we design a steel for one-way slab, because suppose if the slab is loaded, there could be some live load, the dead load of the slab itself and the load of the floor finish. Under the action of this load and the developed bending moment value at the middle span of the shorter span, what would happen if the material is weak or not properly designed or not properly constructed? The slab would deflect, and it would deflect like this, where the tension surface is at the bottom of the slab and the compression surface come on the top of the slab, that would be the top of the RCC with the concrete surface. So this the diagram is shown here is the skeleton of the reinforcement, that the main steel in black and the distribution steel in blue color, and this is fully covered and bonded by the concrete material. But when the deflection takes, all the material deflects together as a unit rigid member, and this deflection is going to develop stresses, tensile stresses at the bottom, for which we provide main steel near the tension face, that is the bottom surface of the slab. Now we'll take care of the some technical terms. The most important technical term is the effective depth in the slab. According to IS 456-2000, page number 36, clause number 23.0, there is a definition for the effective depth, and it is the distance between the top of the slab, that is the compression face, to the center of the tensile steel shown in red color here, and this is the designation for its effective depth, that is small d. Now if we know the effective depth value and the diameter of the main steel bar, that is in red color, and the minimum clear covered from the bottom of the steel bar to the bottom of the slab, we can calculate capital D, that is D plus 0.5 diameter of the main steel bar plus 20. So if here we know D, we can calculate capital D, or if in some case when we know capital D, the overall depth of the slab between top and bottom of the slab, we can calculate also small d. One point is to mention here that when we'll design the slab with this small d and capital D, we have to take the minimum width, the design width of the slab, that is generally taken as 1 meter, and whatever is the length of the slab, this design would be applicable over each 1 meter of the slab throughout its length. So when in design calculations, we will put up the B value, that is the width of the slab for design is 1 meter or 1000 millimeter. The another term is effective span. This also again as per IS 456-2000, page number 34 and clause number 22.2.a. As you see, for a simply supported beam type, the effective span is given as clear span, that is Lx plus effective depth D, or center to center of supports, that is Lx plus W, the width of the support wall. And out of these two values and these values, the whatever is the smaller one, that is taken as the effective span. And for design calculations in one-way slab, we have to follow several steps as shown here, starting from the effective depth, the load calculation, the effective span, the bending moment, the check the depth for flexure, then calculate main steel area, then calculate some distribution steel area, then check for cracking, and finally to show the reinforcement sketch. So this way we can complete the design of the one-way slab. Now we'll take up a design problem. If you read, an office building has a hall of size 3 meter by 9 meter. Design the slab resisting a live load of 3 kN per square meter. The slab rests on 300 mm thick walls. Take M20 concrete and Fe415 steel grade. So in this problem there are some given parameters. You can see the FCK 20, Fy415, Lx 3 meter, Ly 9 meter, and then the span ratio would come Ly by Lx 9 by 3, that is 3.0, and this is more than 2, so it is a one-way slab. The first design step is to calculate effective depth as per IS 456-2000, again page number 37, 38 and figure 4. This is the deflection control criteria to find out the small d. Here, as we don't know any steel area before the design, so we assume a design steel percentage, that is 0.6%, and for Fe415 steel grade, the L by D ratio as per IS code comes for simply supported beam type 20 into modification factor. So for this assumed 0.6% steel grade, we get modification factor is 1.15 on figure 4, so 20 into 1.15 comes 23. So for this, the small d comes 3000, that is the Lx value, divided by 23, that is 130 millimeter. By knowing this, we can calculate the capital D, that is capital D, D plus small d plus 10 by 2. 10 we assume the diameter of the bar, we may provide 10 by 2 plus 20 clear cover, that is 130 plus 5 plus 20, that is 155 millimeter would be the capital D. The next step is the load calculation for the given capital D value what we have obtained. So the dead load comes 0.155, that is in meter, multiplied the design width 1 meter, and the density of the material, that is 3.875 kN per meter. Given live load 3 kN per square meter multiplied by the design width 1 meter, that is 3 kN per meter. Then floor finish 1 kN per square meter multiplied by the width, that is 1. This again comes 1. The total actual load comes 7.875 kN per meter. Now to find out the factored load, factored load is taken as the partial safety factor for load 1.5 multiplied by 7875. So this comes the UDL per meter under W equal to 11.81 kN per meter. So this way we have find out the load also. Now we'll calculate the effective span for the beam. As per IS 456-2000, page number 34, you can see the effective span L is taken equal to the clear span 3000 plus small d 130, that is 3130 millimeter, or center to center of supports, that is the clear span 3000 plus the width of the wall 300, so this comes 3300 millimeter. So lesser of these two values 3130, so effective span is 3130 millimeter. With this we can now calculate the bending moment for this beam, for this one-way slab. You can find out the mu, that is the ultimate moment value, is calculated as a simply supported beam W square by 8, so 11.81 into 3.13 square divided by 8, this comes 14.46 kilonewton meter. So the value of mu limb as required for the SP16 table C page number 10, mu limb would be taken directly 14.46 in terms of 6 Newton millimeter. Now would like to check the depth with what we have taken from the deflection control criteria in flexure. So as per SP16 page 10 table C, the formula is given mu limb equal to 0.13 times BD square for Fe415 steel grade. So from this formula we calculate a small d as a square root of mu limb divided by 0.138 and b. So putting all values we get 72.38 millimeter as a small d from flexure criteria, and this depth is less than the adopted small d, that is 130 millimeter, so we are safe. So we can proceed with the further design. Calculation of the main steel area, that is AST. So as per SP16 table 2, for M20 concrete grade we need to calculate the ratio mu by BD square. So mu we know 14.46 in 10⁻⁶ divided by b 1000 and d 130 square. So this way we get 0.855 as mu by BD square. Now from this SP16 table we get the percentage of steel PT equal to 0.2496%. So from this percentage, if we assume 10 mm diameter bars as main steel, spacing of the bar would come 78.5, that is the 1 bar area of 10 dia into 1000 divided by 324. 324 is the area of the steel calculated based on this percentage 0.2496, and this way we can find out the spacing of the bar. It comes to 42 millimeters center to center. So directly we have written the area of the steel 324 AST, that is PT by 100 into B into D, and directly this comes 324 millimeters square. Now for distribution steel as per IS 456-2000 page 48 clause 26.5.2.1. For Fe415 steel grade, the area of distribution steel is 0.12% of B into capital D, that is 0.22% of 1,155, and this comes 186 millimeters square. If assumed 8 mm dia bar for distribution steel, spacing between bars would be 50.26, that is 1 dia bar's area into 1000 divided by 186, and this comes 270 millimeters center to center. Now we'll check this steel area and their spacing as per control of cracking in the light of IS 456-2004 page 46 clause 26.3.3b. For main steel, the main bar area, for main bar, the spacing between bars would be 3 times effective depth, that is 3 into small d, 3 into 130, 390 millimeter, or maximum 300 millimeter, or the actual is 242 millimeter, which what we have calculated. So smallest of these three is 242 millimeter. So this will be provided because this is less than the maximum and 3D. The second category is the maximum spacing between distribution bars is equal to 5D as per IS code. The 5 into 130, that is 650 millimeter, or maximum allowed 450 millimeter, or the calculated value is 270 millimeter. So the smallest of these three is 270 millimeter. So we'll provide this 270 mm. Okay. Now with this check, the most important part is to calculate to show the reinforcement sketch. So this is the plan of the reinforcement, a typically drawn plan. Now if you see here the colors are in plan. You can see there is one bar coming from the right side going bent up near the support, and this bent up is provided to take care of any negative moments if arises on the top of the slab near the support. As such, there is no need in one-way slab, but suppose if we provide some parapet wall on one-way slab, if we provide some temporary construction of one-way slab along the edges, so this negative moment may arise. So take care of the future stresses if any. So we provide a bent up in at the top of the supports and the left side of the one-way slab sorter span and the right side of the sorter span. So one bent up would be starting from this left end, and another, that is the blue, starting from the left side and bent up on the right support. So this way alternate bars will be bent up on each span. Suppose you can on left side, this is bent up but this is not bent up, this is coming at the bottom of the slab, then this portion is bent up, then this is after 0.15 Lx it is at the bottom of the slab. So throughout the slab the bent up bars will be provided on the left support and the right support on the sorter span. Now transverse to this bars there are distribution steels all along the length Ly on the bottom of the slab as well as in the top bent up bars. So if you see the cross section, the cross section is, you can see the cross section. In cross section you can see cross section at XX, that is the main steel bar is going from left to right, but you have two colors, one bar coming from the left is coming up to this and bent up. 50% bars will be bent up, 50% will be going to the supports, and that is taken care. One bar, alternate bar, is starting from the right side and bent up on the top, the left support, and the circles are the distribution steel. So it is the main bars 10 mm diameter bar, 242 mm center to center, and the distribution bars are 8 mm by diameter bars, 270 mm center to centers. So alternate bars are bent up on the top of each support, the left as well as the right support, and the bent up starts at 0.15 Lx near each discontinuous, that is simply supports, and this way we can understand the cross section of the reinforced RCC one-way slab along sorter span, that is at section XX. Now if you take a section at YY, that is along the longer span, you can see that here the distribution bar is straight, so here it is straight, and the main bars are below the distribution bars. So all circles show the main bars below the distribution bars. Now the different colors means if it is blue, it is blue coming from the left side and bent up on right side. If it is yellow, it is coming from the right side and bent up on left side. So different colors means the alternate bars are bent up and are beginning from different supports, and this way the whole cross section at YY can be drawn, so it is clearly visible from the sketch. So these three diagrams are important in case of the reinforcement sketch for one-way slab. That is the plan of reinforcement, the cross section at shorter span along X-axis, and cross section along longer span along YY. So this way we hope that you have understood how to design a one-way slab, what are the basic terms in one-way slab, and what are the most important one-way slab reinforcement sketch required. So with this, thank you very much for listening to this lecture.